Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima and I'm taking a look at Backgammon Blitz. Backgammon Blitz has already been out for a while in, what was it, Europe? So this might not be much of a surprise to some of the people who watch this channel, you know, because I'm in America and we get some games later than Europe does. It's just the way things work. So let's just go have a look at the options. We got typical voice, sound effect, and music. We've got music styles, which is actually quite nice. We've got controls, which is really doesn't make that much of a difference to me, but you know, whatever. If it's there, it's there. And we've got credits. Vufu Studios and published by the Fizz facility. Vufu are actually pretty good developers, people. They're actually pretty good people too. They made Pure Chess, I believe, and Pure Chess was actually quite good. You know, for a chess game, couldn't really complain. There is a store, an online store. Unfortunately, it's not available yet, not in America, but from what I looked up, all it really is microtransactions for the in-game currency, and that kind of disappoints me, and I'll show you why in a moment. We've got profiles, we've got blitz power-ups. Why are there blitz power-ups? Well, you'll find out in a moment. We've got stats. I've been playing for about an hour. About an hour and 20 minutes of that was tutorials. There's trophies, fair few decent trophies at the very least. So yeah, I've been playing for about an hour. So one thing I just want to point out is that the tutorial doesn't actually do much in telling you anything other than the extreme bare basics of how you have to play the game. Like, for example, even the doubling cube, it references some rules that the game doesn't actually explain. You have to go look them up. It's kind of odd. It doesn't give you any indication on what sort of strategy is. Like, for example, if you have more than one token or whatever they're called, I'm sorry, pips or whatever, on one space, you can't actually take any from that space. And the tutorial doesn't tell you this, by the way. So you have to figure that out yourself. It's just, it tells you the extreme bare basics. I wish it did a little bit more. If the tutorial was a bit longer, I'd be a lot happier with it. Okay, so we have play local and play online. Play online is probably just going through the sort of asynchronous gameplay using messages and stuff that came with Pure Chess. And I don't have a problem with this system myself, but we'll just be sticking to the local for the time being. I imagine that it works fine. I haven't tested it, but to be fair, this is from the guys who made Pure Chess, and Pure Chess worked absolutely fine, so I can't imagine this tripping over. What this does trip over on, though, is more than one thing. So what we're going to do is we're just going to create a new game here. By the way, I have no idea how you win a game. Like, for example, the game takes place over a series of rounds, and I don't know what the point limit is for winning rounds. You can set it to any amount of points here, but unlimited, no idea. So, player 1 plays as random. You can have the difficulty on the AI. By the way, if you are new to backgammon, put it down to beginner as soon as you start. Trust me, intermediate or master, they will kick your ass. You can turn off the doubling cube, which, to be fair, sometimes I would imagine doing this a lot because I am not a fan of the doubling cube. See how they've got all these rules down here? They don't tell you what these rules do. I don't know why they don't. They just don't tell you what these rules do. There's no entry for them in the manual. There is no thing of the in-game manual. The in-game manual here is actually stuff all. That's the entire manual. Yeah, you get the Japanese one if you're on a Japanese Vita. That's disappointing. I have no idea why it's done like that. Okay, so we have two different game modes. We have traditional and we have blitz. We're going to play traditional just to show off the actual idea of the game. We're going to play on stone. Those 4 different themes don't really have any impact on the game whatsoever. So you can pick whichever one you like. You can pick anyone at random. Doesn't really matter. Alright, so this is Backgammon Blitz. Oh, Jesus, I can barely see a thing. That's not comforting. Let's turn the brightness up and... Wow! Look at the lag on that. Jeez. Okay, so... This is Backgammon Blitz. The idea is that you control one set of tokens. For example, I control the blue tokens, right? The blue tokens? I don't know. Yeah, they look more blue than anything else. So the idea is that you roll a pair of dice, and you can move your tokens in a clockwise fashion, or clockwise fashion, around the board, and you have to get them all to your home, which is at the exactly the other side. However, you can also take enemies' tokens in order to do this. So he moved 1 and 5 there, and I'm going to roll again. And now I can move... Okay, I'll move him over here just to show what happens, because if you take one peg... If you take one peg, or whatever they're called, I'm sorry, I don't know what the names are. I'm not a backgammon master. If you take one of their pegs, they have to move that back onto the board before they can do anything else. So he went and took mine, so now I have to get him back on the board. I will get him back on the board right there. And I will put him... And as you can see, you have to move where the dice tell you to move. You cannot... If you can't make a move, your turn is over, and you have to make every move you possibly can. And that is basically backgammon. I got nothing against backgammon, but I have never played it, so I don't really know half the strategy. Most of this game turns out to be something like you're just struggling to get everybody back to the... to get everything into the one area as quickly as possible. The one, like, home area where you can start putting stuff in. It's kind of... What's the word I'm looking for? All the games tend to go the same way, and so it tends not to hold my interest for longer than a single game. Oh yeah, by the way, if you roll doubles, you get 4 of that number. So if you roll 2 5s, you get 4 opportunities to move your tokens up to 5 spaces. I will admit, I do actually like this game. I can see how there'd be strategy in it. It's just, I guess it's something that you really have to play with someone sitting across from you. Figure out their strategy and their plans more than anything else. Let's just protect him a little bit. So there is a little bit of strategy in this game. Like, for example, if you get enough tokens up to where you need to go, and the thing is, when you capture pegs, they have to start back in their own base, which is where you're ending up going. So there's that little bit of strategy about, like, you know, blocking off their areas, trying to keep them from spawning. Because remember, if you have more than one token on a area, you can keep them from getting any sort of token on that area whatsoever. So he's just rolled 4, so he's going to take mine right away. Is it just me, does the AI seem to get really lucky in this game? I'm talking to the European people here, because for some reason the AI seems really goddamn lucky. It just seems to get the rolls it needs every time. I don't know if that's just me or not, but I'll have to wait and see, I guess. So I wasn't able to make a move there, so my turn immediately ended. He's blocking off a fair few of my areas, and there's not much I can do about it, considering. So I have to wait until I get... Yes, okay. I have to move him out, and I think I will leave some room to get him out of the way. And the game continues like this. Everybody... Most of the games that I've played, and these games don't last very long. Most of the games I've played last for anywhere up to, I don't know, about 10 minutes. It's not very long, thanks to the AI. It's a very methodical game. It always goes in the same way. It does something along the lines of... You just end up going something along the lines of... Everybody just gets to their positions, and then eventually everybody just bottles up. All the tokens just bottle up, and eventually it just turns into a sort of just hammer the X button to get your guys home. The beginning of the game is the more interesting part of the game, is what I'm trying to say. When it gets to the end and you've just got 1 or 2 tokens limping home, it just tends to lose interest for me. It's a shame, really. Let's just get this guy out of the way. Unfortunately, the end of the game tends to come really quickly, or at least the part of the game where it stops being interesting. It just seems to... Eventually, when everybody's tokens are just on their own sides, and it's just who can roll the highest dice is what determines the winner. And I was never really a fan of games like that. It's just a thing that I never really got. I'm sorry if my commentary is a bit out of whack today. I'm not really sure what I can say about this game that doesn't make me sound like an absolute utter bastard, because Backgammon is a classic. It's been around for years. I can't say that I've ever had any interest in Backgammon. I think I better... Ooh, I can take his peg there. I'll do that. Gain an opportunity. I'll put it this way. Basically, the main game... The main enjoyable part of the game for me is the first few turns where everything is evenly spread out. And then at the very end, or at least relatively close to the end, it starts to get a little bit repetitive, mainly due to the idea that everybody's through, there's no more piece taking, there's no more anything like that. He's getting a lot of doubles. Then again, all these problems I've talked about are really problems with just the original game of Backgammon. And then again, I got nothing against it. It's just not a game for me where it doesn't say engaging all the way through. It just eventually turns into a piece cluttered, X-hammering waste. Well, not a waste of time, but you get the idea. It's just like, it just takes so long to get to the point, and the game loses a strategic edge too quickly, in my opinion, but then again, that's just my problem. My other problem, though, the game's frame rate is really low. Have you noticed this? This is a real issue. The game's frame rate just stutters. And stutters and stutters and stutters. And I have no idea why. It is a really, really slow game. It's just really, really slow. It's so odd. I'll just take this one for good measure, and that one can be taken as well. Keep him from moving stuff on the board until I say he can. That's usually a good idea. So now see how I've blocked off pretty much every single area that he's got. He needs to get... He can only spawn in one... He can only put his pogs back down. His pogs. In one area. So I am capable of basically blocking almost every roll he can make. Which is really nice. That means I can just start sending my guys up with no fear of being captured. I do like the strategy of this game. It is quite fun to play. And I've blocked off everything, so now he can't move crap. So he's literally incapable of moving at this point, so I can just send guys up all I like. There's not much else to the game of Backgammon, admittedly. Stays strategic at the beginning. Gets a bit iffy at the end. Eventually, I have to start moving pieces up towards the very end. But once I've gotten every single one of my tokens, it starts a special thing where now that I've got every token up at the very end of the board, I can start scoring them. And I'll be there very soon with everything up in the top right. As I said before, it's just a shame the game really loses some of its strategy when it comes to, like, the second half of the game. I wish the performance was better too. I mean, look at this frame rate. Now that I've got everything up there, though, I can start moving it all in. So now that every piece is at the very last quarter of the board, I can start moving them away. And I want to try and keep these things as evened out as possible so that he can't get his things in at the same time. Let me try that again. I want to try and keep them all basically evenly spread so I don't have to end up giving away pieces and... Ooh, that was lucky. So let's just... Actually, yeah, we'll move him over here so that we've got an even spread on 2, 3, 4, 5, and we'll move that in there so that if he rolls a 6... Damn it! Great, now that's back there. So this just starts another pain in the ass thing where we have to get this piece all the way back over, and this stuff can happen pretty frequently. And he's got all his bases back too, so now I have to just... That was probably a bad move strategically, and he's going to take it. No, he's not, actually. Okay, so now we can move this back here. So yeah, the game really just loses its strategic value at this point. It does make an effort to bring some strategy back to it. Wait a minute, I'm going to get taken. Yep. There goes one. At least I got an 8, so I can move him out there straight away. Move him up there. Take that back as well. Just to keep him on his toes. Now that all my guys are back in there, I'm immediately going to start losing them again. Wonderful. That dice in the middle, though, I might as well take the opportunity to explain what it is. So basically, this game works on a weird scoring system I haven't figured out yet, but I've only played for an hour, so there's probably something I'm missing. It's something along the lines of... Oh, great. I just lost 2 bastards. It works something along the lines of you can choose when to double the scores for the game. I don't think the game itself actually does anything along the lines of, God, what am I even trying to say at this point? There's a sort of scoring system where at the end of every round you get a specific amount of points, and once you've gotten that specific amount of points, you can, yeah, it's just a certain amount of points at the end of the game, and it's unlimited, so I imagine you just keep playing forever, I don't know. And then you can choose whether or not to bet to increase the endgame score by a certain amount. And there are different rules, as I said earlier, but the game doesn't actually tell you what the rules are, so you have to go look them up, which is a bit weird. You would think a game like this, god damn it. See, the game really drags out at the end here, because it's just such a long slog of trying to get every single piece back. I don't know if there is strategy to this, but if there is, it's not very engaging or exciting strategy, that's for sure. So yeah, doubling is mainly useful. The double dice is mainly useful for doing things like, god damn it, it's gonna... No, he's not gonna take that piece, okay. Actually, yeah, we'll get him back, and then we'll... Oh, we can't move him, but can we move... Yeah, we'll just take him straight away. There we go. Now, if he rolls a 1 or a 3, he rolls a 5 and a 4. Wonderful. So I rolled doubles, did I? I have nothing else to talk about. It's just... Admittedly, Backgammon is a simple game, but the strategy just seems to wear off after a while. I really need to stop repeating what I'm saying. This is just getting ridiculous. But... It is fun. At least the very beginning is fun. It's just... It just doesn't hold my attention for as long as I would like it to, and that's the disappointing thing. He's going to roll a 2. Yep. And it just turns into this slog of trying to get every single piece you have home. And then eventually one person will just give up and send their token straight home. It's annoying, it really is. I'll take that. I'll move you here. I'll move you over here. Roll again. Take you out and move you over there. He's going to roll a 2. How did I know? The AI just seems godly unlucky in this game. I don't know what it is. They always seem to roll exactly what they need to screw me over at least at the point where I can... Oh yeah, I can't move further than this, can I? Oh, great. At least I can put them all there, so when I do get around to getting that... Oh, god damn it. No, he's not going to take it. Never mind. I imagine the expert AI would absolutely kick my ass. There is probably some strategy I'm missing. That's me. I just miss strategy all the bloody time. Now I'm just going to hammer X. There's nothing me or him can do to stop me from getting pieces home. And considering I've only got like 2 turns, or even 1 if I get doubles, to get all my things home, it's really not going to be an issue. That's it. If you get all your things home without the computer getting any home, that usually gives you more points. If he even has the pegs in the middle where they've been captured, you get even more points for that. It's... Yeah, I already rambled everything I had to say about the base game. Now, there is one other game type, though, and that's Blitz. We'll play on something that isn't absolutely, like, nearly unintelligible. The leather will do quite nicely. Now, the idea of Blitz mode, it feels a little bit unnecessary, to be honest. They probably would have done fine with just the normal mode. But man, this version runs a lot better. This style runs a lot better. So the game plays out like a more basic game of Backgammon, but there is a twist. The twist is that you have what is basically power-ups to use. You can use up to 3 power-ups per game, and you collect power-ups by getting more, by doing feats. Like, for example, piling 2 on that one spot there got me some credits to use. And on your turn, you can choose whether you want to use a power-up or not. Now, my one problem with this system... Well, actually, there are 2 problems. One, you can buy the microtransaction currency. You can buy the currency as microtransactions. You can earn it fairly quickly through just playing the game. Which is fair enough, I guess.
Well played.
But at the same time, it's just a pain trying to earn the currency because you have to either grind against the AI.
One die.
Yeah, see, look, he's just gone and used a power-up, so that's 1 Blitz die. So I only have 1 die next turn to move my things.
Die, die, die.
Also, the game has this announcer who I do not like. I do not like this announcer at all. He's so annoying, and I cannot figure out why that is. I'll use a power-up eventually. But I really do not like the way this game handles the microtransactions, because it gives me the feeling, this might just be me being overly paranoid, but it gives me the feeling that that people who just go online, buy the microtransaction currency are going to be more powerful. Let's actually have a look at the power-ups now. So, we've got a couple here already. We've got one Dying Bodyguard. We've also got Switch. Switch one of your nips with one of the opposition's nips. And you've also got other games. So, you've also got other power-ups you can unlock after more games. So, for example, you can only get this power-up after 128 games. It still kind of feels like that this could be exploited. This could be me just being paranoid, but still, I'm not a fan of it. I don't like it that much. That's all. So, just while I finish off this game of Backgammon Blitz, it's alright. It's a fairly good adaptation. At least the classic mode is a fairly good adaptation of the game Backgammon. And I will admit, I do like... Backgammon isn't that bad. I'll give Backgammon, the game itself, a fairly good rap, because I'll give it credit. It feels like a well-designed board game. Just a simple game like chess is. However, sometimes it just feels like, you know, that the end game can drag on a bit when you're trying to get all your pips home. I imagine there's some sort of strategy I'm missing, as I've said before, that lets you get pieces home faster or something like that, but I'm really not sure, to tell you the truth. He's going to roll a 6. No, he's not going to roll a 6. Alright, so let's just get this guy to safety. Just pile them up there to protect him a bit. Move that guy down there. Meanwhile, I'm of the opinion that the microtransactions in this game aren't really going to be necessary. I'm not really that big of a fan of Blitz because, I mean, there are clever ways to redesign games, but I don't really feel that this is one of them. It's kind of disappointing, especially since there are problems with Backgammon. Like, the strategy doesn't really hold up after a few turns when the pieces have all started moving. And it's more something along the lines of, they could have done something different in order to just, you know, actually make the game more strategic. Especially in the late game. And the funny thing is, once you've got all your pieces in the very last quarter of the board, you can't access any power-ups. You won't be able to use any power-ups at all. It's so weird why it happens here of all places. Like, once you've got all your pieces in the very last quarter, it's so weird that it happens there, and like, there's no power-ups to the very end of the game. It's just odd to me, because the end of the game is the weakest part of the game, at least in my point of view.
Well played. Bravo!
As you can see, I'm earning power-up currency, so let's just take this piece, and let's just take the piece up here, and oh, I can take this and move this one to safety. Move you here. Move you here. My pieces are probably going to get taken. Yep, at least one gone, so... 4 6s! Wonderful! Oh boy. Let's use a power-up. We'll switch.
Switch.
No, Well, I just screwed myself, didn't I? Okay.
Switcheroo. Practically perfect.
Oh, wonderful. Now he's stacked all the cards. I really shouldn't have done that stupid move. Blitz just feels like a... Blitz isn't going to be the mode that I come back to. The power-ups don't really seem to add anything all that beneficial. So, I don't know why I would bother playing this mode again. It just... The power-ups just seemed like a bit of a tacked-on thing, and I'm not really that much of a fan of them. Let's just get him out of the way, and we'll get him down here. Well, shit. What? God damn it. Alright, first of all, we'll move him there, and then we'll get him way out of the way over here. Feel like Davy Jones. 4 4s. I am probably going to lose this. Alright, well I've started getting them home at least, but he's going to do the same thing now. See, power-ups are unavailable while you are bearing off. That means everybody at the very end.
Well played.
That kind of disappoints me. You would think that'd be a good endgame power-up to put here. So now all the AI needs to do is get a good doubles and it's ahead of me. Yep! Oh man. I always hated the luck-based board games, but... Who's to blame for that? Me or the game? Oh, wonderful. Computer kicked my ass because I made a stupid mistake with the switch power up. So, that was a look at Backgammon Blitz. I'm not a fan of the Blitz mode. I don't mind the Backgammon mode, but I wish there was more strategy in the end game. But then again, you can't really blame the developers for wanting to make an accurate recreation of Backgammon. And the Blitz power-up, the Blitz mode with the Blitz power-ups, you know, I wouldn't have had anything against them changing the idea of Backgammon in that mode to try and make the strategy more interesting than just throwing currency that's easier to pay for than to grind. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. I don't know how much this is going to... I think this is going to be $10. I can't be sure about that. I don't think it has cross-buy either. There are different... No, it has cross-buy, but it doesn't have cross-save. Bloody Twitter. So, would I recommend this? For backgammon people who want to play backgammon with their friends on PlayStation platforms, then sure, why not? But then again, as I said earlier in the video, I am completely new to backgammon. This is my first experience with backgammon. I wouldn't recommend it to someone who plays backgammon, who's looking to play backgammon for the first time, because they don't teach you much about the game. Maybe go find another version of backgammon and play that version for a little bit, and once you feel you're a little bit more skilled, pick this version up so you don't feel completely out of your depth. The tutorial could have been better. The game lags like a bastard. The frame rate is constantly low. But, to give it credit, at least it's a faithful recreation, at least by the looks of things. This has been Blue Maxima. I wouldn't outright recommend this to people, but if you're a fan of backgammon, you might as well. I'll see you all next time.